G'day folks, and welcome back to another video. Got a really exciting one for you today, or at least I'm very excited to show it to you all. Basically, as the title of the video says, I bought a new car. It's a new daily to replace, if you can see the Ford back there behind me. Basically, I've been driving that for like 3 years and it gets me around A to B. It's quite a practical car, but it's not fun and it's kind of big. I don't like sitting up high, and I wanted something new and cool, coolish I should say. So I bought a Toyota Mark II. So basically it's another turbo car, it's rear wheel drive, it's JDM, it's another import, it's another 1J. It is automatic, but I'll get to talking about that a little bit later. So let me show you the car. So that was a little montage there for you. I know it doesn't look that impressive at the moment because let's be honest, it looks like a Camry, it's bone stock, but there's a lot of potential in this car. So let me give you a bit of a tour and walk you through like what the car is and some of the cool things about it. So just some basics about the car. It's a 2001 Toyota Mark II JZX 110. So this is technically the successor to the Chaser, the JZX 100, but it doesn't really look anything like the Chaser. But anyway, it's a 1JZ GTE VVTi, this one, compared to the non-VVTi on the Sora. It's an automatic A343, I believe. So 3-speed auto with a 4th gear, which is kind of like the overdrive gear for highways. It's done 100,000 Ks. I am the first registered owner in Australia, so it's a fresh import. It was imported earlier this year, which is pretty cool. The auction papers said it was a grade 4B, but honestly, after looking at the interior, I would probably grade it a 4A because the interior is like immaculate, almost brand new. So the car itself is pretty much bone stock. You can see it's rolling on its original 17-inch wheels. They don't look great. In fact, I just painted alloys and the paint is already starting to crack and flake off, I guess. The color is pearl white, which might be a little hard to see here on camera. Let me see if I can show you up close. Probably can't see that on camera, but it's got like an iridescent sheen to it. Very noticeable at nighttime under street lights, and also when it's hit by shadows. So basically, those who know me know that I've been looking for a daily for probably 2 years now. I started looking just before COVID hit, and I was looking at kind of 2015 era Audi S3s and Lexus IS350s. Unfortunately, COVID happened and the used car market just went berserk, and those cars were not even close to my price range after that. So I had to kind of rethink. I started looking at kind of 2008 to 2011 IS350s. I started looking at these JZX 110s. I also started looking at the Toyota Crowns, similar era to this, the JZS 171, also a 1J. But I've had a absolutely bad string of luck with looking at Mark IIs. So I looked at 5 over the last 2 years. The first one was a black one. I put an offer for it, and as I was putting the offer for, the importer should I say, said, oh, actually I took a deposit for this 3 days ago. So that was a bit whatever. The next 2 I looked at was from another importer. The first one reeked like smoke inside, which was just a straight up no for me. And then the second one, which didn't reek of smoke, they couldn't get started. So that was kind of a red flag as well. The fourth one I looked at was really clean as well, another grade 4B. And I offered the guy in cash exactly what he was asking for without even haggling. And he turned around and was like, oh, actually, I'm not sure if I want to sell it. So I was like, whatever, you wasted my time driving all the way out there to have a look at it. This one came up for sale. I inquired about it. The day that I was going to inspect it, he informed that he'd already accepted a deposit for it. But then a couple of days later, he said that guy actually didn't have any money. I went and saw this one and bought it there on the day because I'd already driven them and knew what I was looking for. As soon as I saw the car, I saw it was clean, I saw it was well looked after, it drove well. So I just made the offer then there, and it was quite a bit cheaper than all the other ones on the market. So it was actually a steal. So there's a couple of things which aren't my favorite about it, like for example the fact that it's white wouldn't be my first preference, although I haven't owned it that long and the pearl white's already growing on me a little bit. The other thing you can see is there's no body kit on it, so from the back especially it looks like a Camry because there's no lip on the bottom there that you can see. So just going to take you inside the car now and show you how clean the inside is. So naturally it's four-door, 5-seater. It's got like this cherry wood coloured trim. It's a lot redder on camera than it actually is. It's not too bad in person. But let me hop in here. But I don't know if you'll be able to tell over the camera. It's immaculate in here. Like seriously brand new. The seats had these fitted seat covers on them that were specifically made for the car, and they were fitted to the car since the factory. And so these seats have literally never been sat on. The steering wheel does have a little bit of wear on this stitching edge here, but other than that, it's pretty much an immaculate condition car. So taking you into the engine bay, a lot of you will be familiar with how this looks if you've watched any videos with chasers in them. So it's 1J VVTi, 2.5 litre. This is a single turbo version. It makes more torque and makes it earlier in the power band, than the non-VVTi, and that makes it pretty good for a daily. So as you can see, it's a pretty clean engine bay. It's quite well looked after, and the only mod that has been done is one that I've just done, and that's unplug the blow-off valve over there to get some cool choo-choo noises. I do have a pod filter coming, so that should be pretty good, so I'll hear it a little more than what it sounds like with the stock box. But yeah, not really much else to say about the engine bay here. It's bone stock. So basically the point of this vehicle, well, the reason why I bought it was I was looking for a daily that was smaller than the Ford because I was sick of driving a big car, but also I wanted something that when the Sora's getting worked on or is out of action, or we're going to like a car meet and I don't want something that's easily defectable and I can get fined in, should I say, I'll take this car. But this car is still an import, still turbo, and I can still have a lot of fun in it, even though it looks like a Camry and kind of drives like one. That was basically the point of the vehicle, like the new daily search, and that's the reason why I was looking at kind of medium powered 4-door sedans that are a little bit sporty, and this car in particular has really good aftermarket support. You know, being a 1J, there's a lot of things you can do to the car, and certainly looking through Instagram at some kind of inspiration photos, there's a lot of potential in this car and how it looks and how it sounds. So I haven't had this car that long, but one thing that I can note, this engine, it's not as spicy as the non-VVTi engines. It's definitely more torquey. Like you can feel the throttle feels more sensitive. It feels like it picks up a lot quicker. But up on the top end, it just lacks that kind of spiciness that the twin turbo model has. So that's not necessarily a bad thing for a daily. You might prefer having the torque. I think I prefer driving the twin turbo, but we'll see how we go. So to talk a little bit about what I want to do to the car in the future, although I have just spent a large amount of money on some mods for the Sora, but I'll get to that in a sec. So I won't be buying anything for this car for a little while, but basically just your basic bolt-ons. I'm going to lower it, nice wheels, exhaust, intercooler, intake pod filter, and maybe a body kit. We'll see how we go, and that's basically it. So it'll stay in auto, which is kind of what I want. My daily commute to work is about 30 minutes of roads and then another 30 minutes of bumper to bumper traffic. So having an auto there is pretty handy. And I guess that kind of leads me into the Sora. I spent a lot of money on it, on mods coming up, because I bought a manual swap kit for it, which is one of the reasons why I was okay with buying another automatic. So the Sora, hopefully end of this year, start of next year. There'll be, I don't know how many parts in the series of installing the manual swap. I'll be doing it here myself with some mates, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, so the weekend car, which has the more spicy engine, will be manual, which will be a lot of fun. And then the daily will be auto. It's still a turbo 6, so that should still be fun as well, but a little more daily friendly for the drive to work. So that kind of concludes this video. A nice little short one for you. Not really any content, just showing off the car, and I'm happy that I bought the car. This is technically my first car, even though the Sora is the first car. This is the first kind of daily. The Ford that I was driving, which is behind you guys, you can't see that, is, or was, my dad's old car. So I don't really count that as being my car per se. So this is really my first car, and I'm really excited to have bought it and looking forward to the mods that are going to come. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you're looking forward to future videos with the Sora manual swap coming up and future mods for this coming up. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.